Ladies and gentlemen, life doesn't hand you anything wrapped in a bow. It doesn't come with a guarantee or a manual. What it does offer, though, is the chance. Just a chance to be better than you were yesterday. To wake up every morning and decide that today you're going to push harder, dream bigger, and refuse to be limited by the circumstances you were born into or the mistakes you've made. The desire to get better isn't some passive feeling you wait for. It's fire, it's hunger. It's that voice deep inside you that won't shut up until you chase down every ounce of potential resting quietly beneath the surface. And that voice, it's not a polite suggestion. It's a relentless command. You see, people will tell you it's impossible. You don't have what it takes. They want you to believe that the dream is just that, a dream, not reality. But let me tell you, the only thing standing between where you are and where you want to be is the story you keep telling yourself. Change that story, change your life. The desire to get better means you refuse to stay comfortable. Comfort kills growth every single time. It's easy to sit back and complain about what you don't have. It's easy to blame the world, blame your upbringing, blame your luck. But that's a cop-out. Real growth requires that you stare the discomfort right in the eye and say, not today. You gotta want it so bad that you're willing to sacrifice. Sacrifice your time, your energy, your pride. Because here's the truth. Improvement is not convenient. It's not easy. It's not a Sunday walk in the park. It's grinding when everyone else is sleeping. It's pushing yourself when your body screams for rest. It's failing 1,000 times but refusing to let failure define you. Now, listen to me carefully. Desire without action is a lie. You can want something all day long, but if you don't move, if you don't put in the work, it's just a wish. So get up, get moving. Take those first steps, even if you don't see the whole staircase. Even if you don't know where it leads. Because the journey itself will teach you things no classroom ever will. And when you feel like quitting, and you will remember why you started, remember those moments when you caught a glimpse of what could be, those moments when you felt alive, like the world was yours to conquer. Cling to that feeling because it's the only thing that will carry you through the hard days. You want to get better, then surround yourself with people who challenge you. Get rid of those voices that tell you to settle, that tell you to play small. The people you spend your time with can either lift you higher or drag you down. Choose wisely. Growth demands patience. You don't become great overnight. There's no magic pill. You fall in love with the process, the long, difficult climb. Because on the other side of struggle is strength, and on the other side of failure is wisdom. Every setback, every mistake is a lesson wrapped in disguise. There's something beautiful about the journey when you stop looking for shortcuts. When you accept that the road to better is paved with sweat, tears, and sometimes pain, that's where character is built. That's where legends are born. And while you're working on yourself, don't forget to give back. The desire to get better isn't just about you. It's about lifting others as you climb, because the measure of your success isn't how far you go alone, but how many people you bring with you. Look in the mirror. That person staring back, that's the only person you've got to answer to. So don't waste time being jealous of what others have. Use their success as fuel. Let it remind you that if they can do it, so can you. You will face doubts, both from the outside and inside, that voice inside your head that says you're not good enough, not smart enough, not strong enough. Don't listen to it. Silence it with discipline, with faith, with relentless pursuit of your purpose. Discipline is the backbone of desire. Without it, your dreams will remain just dreams. You have to create routines, habits, and stick to them like your life depends on it. Because it does. Every small choice you make compounds into your future. Sometimes you have to get uncomfortable to get better. Sometimes you have to fail publicly, make mistakes in front of the world, be vulnerable. That's courage, that's strength. That's the proof that your desire is real. And here's the thing, when you finally get better, when you finally break through those barriers, the satisfaction isn't just in the achievement. It's in the knowing that you refused to quit, that you kept fighting even when it hurt, that you became someone who is not defined by limits, but by possibility. So keep that fire burning inside you. Fuel it with action, with perseverance, with belief. The world isn't waiting to hand you your destiny. You have to take it, and you can. You have everything you need right now. No matter your story, your background, your failures, the desire to get better is the single most powerful force you have. It's the seed from which greatness grows. Nurture it, protect it, chase it every single day. Remember, greatness isn't about talent alone. It's about the refusal to settle, the willingness to struggle, the relentless desire to improve. That's what sets the extraordinary apart from the ordinary. You want to get better, then commit. Commit so deeply that your very existence is wrapped up in that pursuit. When you fall, get up faster. When you fail, learn harder. When you doubt, fight louder, and never, ever forget that your life, your future, is in your hands, no one else's. So rise up. Step into the arena. Own your desire to get better, because that desire will change your life if you let it. The desire to get better, to rise above where you are, to reach that next level in your life, it's powerful. But desire alone, desire by itself, is like a flame flickering in the wind. It's beautiful but fragile. If you don't protect it, nurture it, and fuel it with action, it will burn out before it even becomes a fire. The difference between those who achieve greatness and those who watch from the sidelines is not just the presence of desire, it's relentless desire backed by relentless action. Wanting something is easy. We all have dreams. We all have moments where we imagine a better version of ourselves, a bigger life, more success, more respect, more impact. But the question is, what are you doing with that desire? Are you letting it sit inside you, a quiet wish, or are you using it as a call to arms? Because desire without action is like a car without fuel. It doesn't matter how great the engine is, how sleek the design, it's going nowhere. Action is what makes desire real. It's the only language that the universe understands when it comes to progress. You might think about waking up early to study, to practice, to work on your craft. But if you keep hitting snooze, that desire stays locked inside you, gathering dust. You have to move. You have to step into the arena every day, even when you don't feel like it, even when you're scared, even when the odds seem stacked against you. The people who get better don't wait for motivation to strike like lightning. They create motivation through movement. They understand that motivation is fleeting, unpredictable. Action is constant. When you make action a habit, you don't depend on feeling inspired. You build momentum. Every small step forward is a vote for the person you want to become. This is where discipline comes in. Desire can get you started, but discipline keeps you going. Discipline means showing up even when you're tired. Discipline means making choices that align with your goals when no one is watching. Desire without discipline is like a spark in the rain it struggles to survive. But when you couple desire with discipline, you create a force unstoppable. Think about the times in your life when you wanted something desperately. Maybe it was a job, a promotion, better health, or a new skill. What separated the times you succeeded from the times you failed? Chances are it was action. When you decided to make a plan to break down your goal into steps and to do those steps consistently, you moved closer to success. When you hesitated, procrastinated, or gave in to distractions, your desire faded. Action is not always glamorous. It's often repetitive and hard. It's waking up before sunrise to train while others sleep. It's reading books and practicing skills while friends are out having fun. It's pushing through the moments of doubt and exhaustion when your mind screams for rest. That's the kind of action your desire demands if you want it to become reality. You also have to be willing to fail in your pursuit of better. Action means trying, risking, sometimes falling flat on your face. It means showing up imperfect, making mistakes, and learning. No one improves without failure. The fear of failure stops many from taking action at all. But the truth is, failure is not the opposite of success, it's part of it. Every failure is a stepping stone, a lesson, a test of how badly you want it. The relentless desire to get better fuels your resilience. When you take action despite fear and setbacks, you build confidence. You prove to yourself that you are capable, and that proof becomes the foundation for bigger goals, tougher challenges, and greater victories. It's also important to recognize that action isn't about rushing or doing everything at once. It's about consistent, focused effort. Small daily actions repeated over time lead to massive change. The person who practices for 30 minutes a day will improve more than the one who waits for the perfect moment to start. It's about progress, not perfection. So, take your desire and translate it into a plan. Break your goals into bite-sized pieces. Identify what you can do today, right now, that moves you forward. Don't wait for the stars to align or the perfect conditions. The conditions will never be perfect. Start where you are with what you have. When you start acting on your desire, you send a message to yourself and to the world that you are serious. You are no longer dreaming, you are doing, and doing attracts more doing. It builds energy, it opens doors, it changes your mindset from passive to active. Keep in mind that action is not about instant results. Sometimes you sow seeds that won't sprout for months or years. That's where patience comes in. But as long as you keep moving, the seeds are growing underground. The moment you stop acting is the moment you give up on your desire. Also, don't be afraid to ask for help or learn from others. Action includes seeking knowledge, mentorship, and feedback. It means being humble enough to admit you don't have all the answers but hungry enough to find them. Growth is not a solo journey. Action connects you to a community, a network, a source of strength. Every story of success is a story of relentless desire turned into relentless action. It's not the talent that got them there. It's the willingness to grind when no one's watching, the refusal to settle for good enough, the habit of outworking yesterday's version of themselves. That's what makes the difference. The desire to get better is a promise you make to yourself, but it's action that keeps that promise. So don't just want it, go get it. Move with intention, move with courage, move with faith in yourself and the process. Because when desire meets action, you create something unstoppable. Discomfort and failure. These are words most people run from like they're fire. But here's the truth that few want to hear. If you want to get better, you must not only accept discomfort and failure. You must embrace them. They're not the enemies standing in your way. They're the allies shaping you into something stronger, smarter, and more resilient than you ever imagined. Discomfort is the soil where growth takes root. It's the fire that tempers steel. When you're comfortable, you're stagnant. You're stuck in a place that feels safe but offers no progress. Real change, real improvement, demands that you step outside that safety zone and face challenges that shake you up. When you embrace discomfort, you're telling yourself that you're willing to risk pain, frustration, and uncertainty because you understand that these are the prices of growth. Look at every success story you admire. None of those people reached their peak by staying in their comfort zones. They pushed past the limits of what was easy or familiar. They learned to sit with discomfort and use it as a signal that they were on the right path. Because discomfort often means you're stretching, learning, and becoming more than you were yesterday. Now, failure is even harder to face. It cuts deep. It can sting your pride, your confidence, your identity. But failure is not a full stop. It's a comma in your story. It's a necessary part of the process. Every great person you look up to has failed more times than you can count. They didn't fail because they lacked ability. They failed because they dared to try. The fear of failure keeps so many people locked in a cage of inaction. They don't want to try because they don't want to lose. But here's the secret. The only real failure is the failure to try. To stay stuck in fear is to give up on yourself before you even start. Failure is feedback. It tells you what doesn't work, where you need to grow, what needs to change. Embracing failure means shifting your mindset. It means seeing mistakes and setbacks not as disasters, but as lessons. When you fall, instead of asking why me, ask what can I learn. When you don't get the results you want, instead of quitting, ask yourself, how can I do better next time? That kind of thinking turns failure from a wall into a stepping stone. Discomfort and failure also teach you patience and perseverance. When things get tough, most people give up. They want quick results, easy wins, instant gratification. But growth takes time. It takes repeated effort through days, weeks, and years of struggle. When you accept discomfort, you also accept the long haul. The slow burn of progress that may not be visible immediately, but is happening deep beneath the surface. The process of getting better is a cycle of trying, failing, learning, and trying again. This cycle builds character. It builds mental toughness. You develop a mindset that no setback can shake because you know failure is not the end, it's a necessary part of the journey. That confidence to face challenges head on comes from experience with failure and discomfort, not avoidance. Another part of embracing discomfort is learning to get comfortable with uncertainty. When you're growing, you're stepping into the unknown. You don't have all the answers, and that's okay. You can't control every outcome. But you can control your response. Instead of fearing what might go wrong, focus on what might go right. Instead of retreating when things feel uneasy, lean into it. This kind of courage is not something you're born with, it's built over time through repeated exposure to hard situations. Every time you face discomfort and push through it, you build muscle. That muscle is your courage, your resilience, your confidence. It's also important to understand that discomfort isn't just physical. It's emotional and mental too. Growth stretches you emotionally when you take risks, expose your vulnerabilities, and put yourself out there. It challenges you mentally when you confront old beliefs, learn new skills, and solve problems. This is hard work. It's uncomfortable, but it's necessary. Surround yourself with people who understand this truth. People who won't shield you from discomfort or failure, but will encourage you to push through it. Because sometimes the people closest to us want to protect us by keeping things easy. But protection can become a prison if it stops you from growing. Remember, discomfort and failure don't just build strength. They build humility. When you fail, you're reminded that you're human, that you don't have all the answers, that there's always more to learn. That humility is powerful because it opens you up to growth rather than shutting you down with pride. There's a difference between pain that destroys and pain that builds. The pain of giving up, the pain of regret, the pain of wondering what could have been is far worse than the temporary pain of pushing through discomfort and failure. When you embrace discomfort and failure, you choose growth over comfort, progress over stagnation, and courage over fear. So lean into the hard days. Celebrate the failures because they mean you're trying. See discomfort as a sign that you're alive, that you're stretching, that you're evolving. When you do this, you transform from someone who avoids pain into someone who uses it as fuel to get better every single day. Your story is yours and yours alone. No one else lives it, no one else feels your pain, carries your dreams, or walks your path. Owning your story means stepping into your truth and accepting every piece of it. The good, the bad, the messy, the triumphant. It's about looking in the mirror and facing yourself without excuses, without blaming circumstances, without pointing fingers at the world for where you are today. Because the moment you take full responsibility for your life, you step into your power. You become the author of your own destiny instead of a character stuck in someone else's script. Owning your story doesn't mean ignoring the hardships you've faced. It means acknowledging them, embracing them, and understanding how they've shaped you. Every struggle, every setback, every mistake has contributed to the person you are right now. It's easy to want to hide from the past, to wish things were different, to feel like you're a victim of your circumstances. But that mindset keeps you stuck. It hands over control to forces outside yourself. When you own your story, you reclaim that control. It's not about being perfect or having everything figured out. It's about being honest with yourself and deciding that you will no longer let your past define your future. You have the power to change the narrative. No matter where you come from, no matter what mistakes you've made, you can write a new chapter starting today. But that starts with accepting full responsibility for your life and your choices. Surrounding yourself wisely is part of owning your story. The people around you have a massive impact on how you see yourself and what you believe is possible. If you fill your life with negativity, doubt, and people who tell you to settle, guess what? Your story will reflect that. But if you choose to be around people who challenge you, who believe in you even when you don't believe in yourself, who push you to be better and hold you accountable, that's when your story starts to change. You don't have to carry the weight of your story alone, but you do have to be selective about who you let walk alongside you. There are people who will try to keep you small because they're afraid of their own potential, or because they don't want to see you outshine them. There are people who will feed your doubts instead of your dreams. Those voices are poison. You have to cut them out, protect your energy, and invest in relationships that nurture your growth. Wise people bring wisdom into your life. They challenge you to think differently, to stretch, to grow. They celebrate your wins and help you learn from your losses. When you surround yourself with this kind of community, your story gets richer, more powerful, more hopeful. Because you start to believe not just in yourself, but in the possibility of transformation. Owning your story also means being accountable for how you show up in your relationships. It's easy to blame others when things go wrong, but true ownership means looking at your part. Are you being honest? Are you communicating? Are you treating yourself and others with respect? Accountability in your relationships creates a foundation of trust and respect, which supports your growth. Your story is also about your mindset. What you believe about yourself shapes everything. Your actions, your choices, your willingness to take risks. If you believe you're limited, you'll live limited. But if you own your story and tell yourself a new truth, one where you are capable, worthy, and deserving of success, that belief becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Your mindset becomes the fuel that drives your desire to get better. And let me tell you, rewriting your story isn't a one-time event. It's a daily practice. Every morning you get a chance to show up differently, to make better choices, to speak kinder words to yourself. Sometimes your old story tries to creep back in with doubt, fear, or self-sabotage. But owning your story means recognizing those moments and choosing to respond differently. It means reminding yourself that your past does not dictate your future. There's incredible freedom in owning your story. Freedom from regret, from blame, from the chains of victimhood. When you own it, you step into a place of power where you can make decisions that align with the life you want to live. You become intentional about your goals, your habits, your relationships. Wise surrounding also means learning to set boundaries. Not everyone deserves a seat at your table. Protect your peace by saying no to what drains you and yes to what energizes you. This is a vital part of owning your story because your environment directly impacts your ability to grow. If you allow toxicity in your life, it will seep into your mindset and your actions. Sometimes owning your story requires forgiveness of yourself and others. Holding on to anger, shame, or resentment only keeps you tied to the past. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting or excusing wrongs. It means releasing their power over you. When you forgive, you clear space in your heart and mind to focus on what's ahead. Your story is also shaped by the narratives you choose to believe. Media, culture, society. All these forces try to tell you who you are and what you can become. But the truth is you get to decide. You can reject limiting labels and stereotypes, and instead create a narrative that empowers you. When you own your story fully, you become authentic. You stop pretending to be someone you're not to please others. You embrace your unique gifts, your quirks, your struggles. Authenticity is magnetic because it's real. It attracts the right people, the right opportunities, and creates a life that feels meaningful. Owning your story means being vulnerable too. Vulnerability is often mistaken for weakness, but it's the birthplace of courage. When you share your true self, the highs and lows, you inspire others and build deeper connections. This authenticity strengthens your community and supports your growth. Finally, owning your story is about legacy. What do you want people to say about you? How do you want to be remembered? When you take responsibility for your story and surround yourself wisely, you're not just building a better life for yourself. You're creating a path others can follow. You're adding your voice to a chorus of people who refuse to be limited by their past and chose to become better. This journey isn't easy, but it's worth it. Because when you own your story and choose your company with care, you unlock a power inside you that no one can take away. You become unstoppable. Commitment is the cornerstone of any meaningful change. It's the difference between fleeting wishes and lasting transformation. When you truly commit, you make a decision that goes beyond hope or desire. It becomes a declaration. You're saying, "I'm all in. No matter what happens, I'm not turning back." That kind of commitment is rare because it requires you to put your future above your present comfort. It means choosing long-term gain over short-term pleasure, choosing persistence over surrender. Most people talk about wanting to get better, but few understand what commitment really means. It's not a one-time promise, it's a daily choice. Every morning you wake up, you have to recommit. Every time you face a challenge, a distraction, or an excuse, you have to reaffirm your decision. Commitment demands consistency. It's about showing up even when you don't feel like it, even when progress is slow or invisible. Persistence is the fuel that keeps commitment alive, because the journey to getting better is never smooth or straight. There will be setbacks, obstacles, doubts, and failures, but persistence means refusing to quit in the face of all that. It's the ability to keep going when others stop, to keep fighting when the easy thing would be to give up. Persistence turns obstacles into opportunities, failures into lessons, and delays into preparation. When you commit deeply, you eliminate the option of giving up. It's not just about motivation, which can be fleeting, it's about discipline and mindset. You accept that discomfort, struggle, and even pain are part of the process. You accept that success rarely comes quickly or easily, but you're willing to endure all of that because the goal is bigger than the temporary difficulty. Commitment also means being willing to make sacrifices. Sometimes you have to give up activities, relationships, or habits that don't serve your vision. You might have to say no to distractions or temptations that pull you away from your path. Deep commitment means prioritizing your growth and being intentional about where you invest your time and energy. Persistence requires resilience. When you face failure, and you will, you don't see it as a reason to quit. Instead, you see it as a test of your resolve. Each time you get back up, you strengthen your mental muscles. You build confidence not just in your abilities, but in your capacity to endure. That resilience becomes a shield against future doubts and fears. It's important to remember that commitment doesn't mean doing everything perfectly. It means doing the best you can consistently. It means accepting that you will make mistakes, but refusing to let those mistakes define you or stop you. The people who succeed are often not the most talented, but the most persistent. They keep moving forward, learning, adapting, and growing. When you commit deeply, you also create clarity. You define what success looks like for you. You set specific goals and create a roadmap. This clarity helps you avoid distractions and stay focused. It helps you measure progress and celebrate small victories along the way, which fuels further persistence. Sometimes, commitment means standing alone. Not everyone will understand or support your journey. Some will doubt you, criticize you, or try to pull you back. Deep commitment means you listen to your own inner voice more than the noise around you. It means trusting yourself enough to keep going, even when the path feels lonely. Persistence also teaches patience. Change doesn't happen overnight. It requires steady effort over time. When you commit deeply, you learn to embrace the slow grind, the daily discipline. You understand that every small step adds up, and that persistence compounds into progress. This kind of commitment is transformational. It changes how you see yourself. It shifts your identity from someone who wishes for better to someone who takes responsibility and acts. You stop blaming circumstances and start becoming the architect of your own life. That empowerment fuels even deeper commitment. Commitment and persistence also build momentum. The more you act on your goals, the easier it becomes to keep going. Momentum turns resistance into rhythm. It turns obstacles into stepping stones. When you commit deeply, you create a force that propels you forward even when motivation wanes. You can think of commitment like planting a seed. You water it every day with effort, patience, and persistence. Sometimes you don't see immediate growth above the surface, but beneath the ground, roots are forming. With time, those roots support a strong, flourishing plant. That's the power of deep commitment, steady investment that leads to lasting growth. When challenges come and they will remember why you committed in the first place, hold on to that vision, let it be your anchor. Let it remind you that every hardship is temporary and every step forward brings you closer to who you want to be. Finally, commitment and persistence are about faith. Faith in the process, faith in yourself, and faith that your efforts will pay off. Sometimes you have to trust before you see. You have to believe in the unseen. That belief, combined with relentless action, creates unstoppable power. So commit deeply, not just with words, but with your actions, your mindset, and your heart. Persist when it gets tough. Persist when you're tired. Persist when others doubt you, because that commitment, that persistence, is the bedrock on which every success story is built.